What's up, guys? So today we're going to be looking at the band Shade Empire, and the song is called Anti-Life or Anti-Life Savior 2017. I don't know if that's part of the song title or not because it's in full screen and I don't want to click out of that. But anyway, without further ado, let us begin.
Listen to what is in some ways the first great speech of the poem in book 1 of the 12 books. Satan, cast down by God to hell with the other rebel angels, sees close by him one next himself in power and next in crime, Beelzebub, Satan's lieutenant. And Satan addresses him like this:
If thou beest he, but oh how fallen, how changed from him, who in the happy realms of light, clothed with transcendent brightness, didst thou shine, myriad so bright. If he, whom mutual league, united thoughts and counsels, equal both at hazard in the glorious enterprise, joins with thee one.
Listen to what is in some ways the first great speech of the poem in book 1 of the 12 books. Satan, cast down by God to hell with the other rebel angels, sees close by him one next himself in power and next in crime, Beelzebub, Satan's lieutenant. And Satan addresses him like this:
If thou beest he, but oh how fallen, how changed from him, who in the happy realms of light, clothed with transcendent brightness, didst thou shine, myriad so bright. If he, whom mutual league, united thoughts and counsels, equal both at hazard in the glorious enterprise, joins with thee one. Now misery has joined, equal ruin. To what didst thou feast? From what hunger, warm? So much the stronger proves he with his thunder, and to them who knew the force of those proud arms. Yet not although, nor what the potencies are in his ways can help him to eradicate or change. immortal hate and courage never to submit or yield, and what is else not to be overcome. That glory never shall be wrong, I take storm from me, to bow and sue for grace who softened me, and named by his power, who from the terror of his arms so made down his empire. That were knowing me, that were infamy and shame beneath this downfall. Since by fate, the strength of gods and its imperial substance cannot fail, since through experience of this great event in arms not worse and foresight much advanced, we may with more successful hope resolve to wage by force or guile this eternal war, irreconcilable to our grand foe, who now triumphs.
Very interesting. Um, I have so many questions right now, but even the beginning was very interesting. Listen to what, in some ways, the first great speech of the poem in book one of the 12 books. Okay, that's interesting. Um, that's very interesting, actually, but because I don't know I don't know, because I know Nordic paganism definitely varies from what we see in America as far as Luciferianism and Satanism. But so this first paragraph where it says Satan cast down by God to hell with the other rebel angels sees close to him one next to himself in power, next in crime, Beelzebub, Satan's lieutenant, and Satan addresses him like this. And that's interesting because according to the Lesser Key of Solomon and according to a lot of demonology hierarchies, Beelzebub is considered to be one of the 9 kings of hell or 7 demons of hell, which is interesting because that puts him as a president of hell, which is pretty high up there when you get into the ranking system, which means 1, he's a very difficult demon to summon if you were trying to do that, but 2, he also is very capable just himself without any help, which also probably if we're going to take the song as canon, if you will, then he would be up there among the level of archangels, which would be Lucifer and Michael and Gabriel, and the angels and the anti-angels, the used to be archangels, if you will. But the interesting thing is, according to most sources, Beelzebub sits high in hell's hierarchy, but he's known as somebody who led a successful revolt against the devil. And interestingly, it then specifies, if you look on Beelzebub's Wikipedia page, it specifies that he is the chief lieutenant of Lucifer, the emperor of hell, and presides over the Order of the Fly, which is interesting with how many metal references reference flies and maggots and things like that. So that's interesting. But okay, I'm gonna stop with that because I could take this video on and on and on and on and on for hours talking about this. But musically, very similar to the feel of other Finnish bands and bands of that area, which means I like it. I love the fact that that they were also dedicated to telling a story with this music. I think it's interesting that at the end he wrote with blood, why me? And in the beginning, he comes out of a house with a book, right? That's wrapped in black cloth. So you can wonder, is this the Satanic Bible? Is this the Lesser Key of Solomon? Is this the Necronomicon? Like, is this the mad rising of the poet, or the prophet Adib al-Hazred? Something like that. I don't remember his name exactly. But what does that book contain? Because then there's a small point where it looks like he has a seizure, which you could consider as a possession takeover. And a lot of times, especially with the greater demons, the higher presidents of hell, blood sacrifice, specifically human blood, is required. And then you see him put the blindfold on that has blood on it, like he gouged out his eyes there. And then later you see him cut off his fingers and say, why me? And it's interesting because at that last moment, it's almost like he struck himself out of possession and wrote, why was it me that had to be possessed? Why am I the prey of Beelzebub? Which is interesting. And that's from me not reading all the lyrics and not getting through the entire song as far as understanding every word. When he starts talking again in the bridge, it's interesting to me because he says this imperial substance cannot fail, since though experience of this great event in arms, not war, not worse, in foresight much advanced, we may with more successful hope resolve to wage by force or something eternal war, irreconcilable to our great foe who now triumphs. And you could take that two ways. If this is Beelzebub we're talking about, and he did successfully revolt against the devil, is the devil his great adversary, or are we talking about God and Jesus of the standard Christianity that we see in most of the world as, even Roman Catholicism, if you will? But it's a very interesting question of who is this enemy he's specifically talking about, because in these lyrics, foe is capitalized, so that's interesting. But then the chorus at the end says, born of flames, baptized in fire, pure chaos inside this shell of flesh. Hold the scepter, burn the eyes of your God. This is my wolf pack, you are my prey. So obviously you saw his eyes burned, and I guess, I don't know, I'm going to stop reading into it, but really cool video. I love videos like this that have a story to them that is really deep, especially if it gets into theological topics, because once you start talking theology, it affects philosophy and it affects metaphysics all around us. And you really have to define what you believe as a person if you're really going to get answers to it that you can hold on to. And that doesn't, and when you find answers for you, that doesn't mean you find answers that line up with what everybody else out there thinks or says. It means you found answers for yourself and the life you are living. And yeah, philosophy is something that I really like getting into. So yeah, if you listen this far into a 20-minute video, basically, thank you very much for watching, and I'll be thinking about this song for a while, but I really liked it. I really enjoyed the storyline in it, and thank you for suggesting this, because that was dope. Like, it was really cool. So thank you so much for suggesting it. You who did, you know who you are. And as always, stay healthy, stay kind, and stay safe. And I will see you guys in my next video. Peace.